beautiful day this morning, and we're happy to be here. This is TERRENTINO News, coming at you live from Universal Headquarters. I'm in the throne room of Little Vatican, and we're brought to you by Unity the Movement. And it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful morning. You know, we're feeling like Billy Hope, White Men Can't Jump, circa early 1990s. He was trying to inform Sidney Dean, basically treat Sidney Dean like that old horse, you know, telling Sidney Dean, hey man, why the long face? Because sometimes you do wake up and the birds are singing. So let's just put a smile on our face and have a positive outlook, no matter what condition we find ourselves in. Hey, the storm is over now. You know, I can feel the sunshine somewhere beyond the clouds. So that's the outlook, because today we just have to be aware of a lot of isms that have gotten so powerful that they can pull you down to where you don't appreciate the sunshine. You don't appreciate the beauty of the day. You don't appreciate the blessings of life. You more are likely to dwell on the negatives rather than embrace the positives. So we got to do a little better. We got to do a little better. What I've seen in this world lately is a lot of classism, a lot of sexism, and a lot of racism. You know, I've seen a lot of classism, a lot of sexism, and a lot of racism. I'm not sure if we're going to really tackle the sexism today, but you can obviously understand that sexism abounds, especially when we're living in the era of the Gynarchy. You know, I just was watching news or just talking to a lady. She's a principal, and she was talking about the things that she had to do with her staff in the new year. And, you know, I saw some of her staff after I talked to her, because I saw her and I watched her. But her staff, you know, they just didn't like it that she was calling them her staff. Now, I've heard athletes say, my team, I got to lead my team. But, you know, and on athletes, the only distinction between players on a team, there might be a captain. But, you know, you'll see almost any guy, the last guy on the bench say, my team. Nobody gets offended. But this lady, she's actually the principal of the school, doctor by title. She says, my staff, you know, ownership of the workforce, and people getting offended just because she's taking that ownership of, you know, of the staff or of the workers, of the employees, and accepting and embracing her leadership role. And it's being met with disdain simply because she's a woman, because you weren't reacting like that when others were claiming, you know, using that possessive pronoun to describe you, my team, my teammates, you know, things of that nature. But the lady, the principal, she says, my staff. And now you're all up and on. Now, you feel like you can't get comfortable at work just because the boss is letting you know, not aggressively, passively, but letting you know that who's the boss. You are a part of my staff. Simple little words, you know, ignite these explosive triggers. So get over it. This is the Gynarchy. You know, there is no place for sexism, especially sexism as it relates to attempting to put down a woman. Now, there will be, if there is sexism in the Gynarchy, it'll be the man needing to understand his proper place. But it's too late for you to be thinking you got to put some woman in her proper place. This is a Gynarchy. Gynarchy, you know, go to the gynecologist. You know, this is about the woman, and the woman is in charge. You see a group of people, let's just say children, and you say, look at them cutting up over there. Which one of them look most responsible? I bet you pick out a girl and you say, hey, let me tell you something. And then you say, hey, man, watch these people. They reckless. I'll just give you an example. I saw a group of children yesterday, and I was driving the vehicle, and a boy, he jumped in the street, and I almost hit him. So I slowed down, hit the brakes, just like he was a deer. And I kept on going after they all went back on the side of the road, or after the little boy went back on the side of the road. But then, hey, my philanthropy, my good heart, my kind heart. I thought about those 5 fights that I had to get out of that young man. So I doubled back around, and I saw those children, and all of them looked pretty reckless, except for one. It was a girl, and I said, "Hey, young lady, come here." She came, and I talked to her. I said, "Would you please? Is that your brothers? Are those your brothers, your cousins?" I said, "That little one that went in the street, is that your brother?" He said, "Yeah, that's my brother." I said, "Okay, you in charge. Don't let him die." Now, I was talking about in the moment, don't let him run the street. But I could see it in her eyes, she took that on as a lifelong mission. Like she knew, man, if he act under his own cognitions, he'll kill himself. I just saw him running that street when that car came back. So when I told her she's in charge, and then I asked her not to let him die, I saw it in her eyes. She embraced it. She embraced the fact that she'd have to be watching her little brother for the rest of his life to keep him from killing himself. Sexism, especially putting women down, because they're helping preserve us. And this isn't about being preserved in the moment, or this isn't about being preserved in the family. This is about actually being kept, because even the lady that's principaling the school, those aren't her family members, but she's taking ownership of these people because she can show them a little bit better than they can see. Let's get off of sexism. Let's talk a little classism. Classism, now there was a guy, he was on TV yesterday. Now, this was not something I actually watched on TV. And he was saying that people need to choose Tom Brady, support Tom Brady, over support Bill Belichick, because he said that Bill Belichick is more a part of the ownership group, because he's the head coach and maybe a little bit of the general manager. He works with the front office personnel and the decision-making for the New England Patriots. They said they ought to support Tom Brady because Tom Brady is just an employee. So when Tom Brady left the Patriots, people ought to support Tom Brady because he's just an employee. He's just like every one of us. And then the guy said, because we're all just employees. Now that's classism. My favorite basketball team is the Charlotte Hornets. And it has nothing to do with the employees. You can elevate your mind to start thinking about more things than just supporting the ones that's got the burden on their backs every day. You can have goals. There was a song in one time, I want it all, brand new socks and drawers. That's the song. So you can attempt to elevate yourself and start supporting ownership. Charlotte Hornets, my team, because of Michael Jordan, the owner. So you can elevate your mind. You don't have to stay in a certain class, maybe a class that you were born in, or a class that you were conditioned to accept as your own. But a part of you was here well before any ism was founded or substantiated. So you don't have to say, I'm a part of the proletariat, or I'm a part of the bourgeois. So you don't have to accept a certain class just by how somebody looks at you in your plight in life. You can support who you choose to support. If you feel like you have ownership potential, you know, if you feel like you have leadership potential, then support leaders. Support leaders. Don't just fall into this every man type of thing. This is something that's been going on a long time. There's a book with the main character. His name is Every Man, because he's like, he says he compares what he's made of just like every other man. So this concept of you're an average Joe, you're just a guy, that's been established a long time ago. But you can see yourself more than what people betray you as. And you could definitely beat that. Now let's go to a little racism. Now the racism that I saw, it was about another sports thing. But sports is such a microcosm of life, and I just love it. This is about Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving has walked off the job. And there's going to be a part 2 of this one, because we can't get into all this in one setting. It's too heavy. But the racism involved with Kyrie Irving was, there's a guy, white guy, Mr. Rick. I'll say his name is Mr. Rick. I'll go all the way racist. You call a black guy Rick, and then you call a white guy Mr. Rick. So I'll just say Mr. Rick said that Kyrie Irving needs to come back to work. Mr. Rick said Kyrie Irving needs to understand, even though he wants to be known as more than a basketball player, and by the way, Kyrie Irving makes $410,000 every game. His check for every game is $410,000. But he says, Kyrie Irving, he would really love to be more influential in this world, than just a basketball player. But what he really needs to understand is that his true platform is out there on that basketball court playing basketball. And if he can accept his true platform, then he might be able to do some of these other things that he's hoping to do. And, he had some black guys and some white guys up there on the panel, and they were all agreeing with him. It reminded me of Malcolm X. Malcolm X at this time it was Malcolm Little on the movie Malcolm X by Spike Lee. And on a certain point of the movie, Malcolm X, he had big dreams. He had thoughts of doing other things. And his teacher, the white guy, this was when he was a little younger, school age. I remember this, and I watched the movie when I was a boy. So, like I got shades of what people think about you as a child. I just saw the man do it yesterday. 30 years later, I don't know how long it's been since Malcolm X came, at least 25 years. But he told Malcolm X, his teacher told Malcolm X, hey man, those are some lofty goals you have, but have you ever considered working with your hands? He said, you people are good with things like that. He said, working with your hands not all that bad, because Malcolm X, he had a lofty goal. He want to do this, he want to do that, he want to do this. So the man tried to knock the wind out of his sail, poke a hole in his balloon, come on back down to earth, man, or do something you kind of people can do. He said, working with your hands isn't all that bad. You have heard of Jesus, hadn't you? And Malcolm was like, yeah, I heard of Jesus. He said, yeah. He said, Jesus was a carpenter. You'll be good with working with your hands. It's not all that bad. Let him know, like, whatever you're thinking, man, get it out your head, darky. So that's the same thing that Mr. Rick was trying to tell Kyrie Irving yesterday. Now, I will touch on another point because I can't leave it hanging. So I've been seeing this sexism, racism, and classism. But I've also been seeing some foolishness. Straight foolishness. If you can't do your job no more, quit your job. Don't take $410,000 checks because they want you to come back, but you don't want to do it no more. And you just go milk them for, like Jay-Z said, I came to milk the game for all it's worth. You can milk the game for all it's worth if you're going to work. But if you're not going to work and you still trying to milk the game will turn on you, okay? And the game will get more out of you than you were getting out of it. especially when the game realize you're playing. You know, if you're gonna be a crusader, you're gonna lead change, then you can figure out a way to do it without stealing them checks. You know, stop stealing. You know, if you really convicted that these folks think we some puppets, these folks think we some slaves, these folks got me messed up, you know, I ain't no Uncle Tom, whatever you thinking in your heart. But you can think all those things, but if you're thinking all those things, quit taking that money if you're not gonna do your job. Do your job. I had to say to the producer, you gotta leave that do your job up there a little bit longer. You flash it up there one of those episodes. It was so fast, I don't think everybody got it. No, everybody needs to do your job. This is serious business. Don't play any games out here. If you sign up for it, do it. Okay? And if you're not gonna do it, quit. But don't play a game like, I'm gonna see how many checks I can get before they make me make a decision. You still putting power in somebody else's hands. Make your decision, make your mind up, and keep on stepping, keep on moving. This has been TERRENTINO News. And as we bright the white, do not endorse sexism, racism, classism, or foolishness. Have a wonderful day.
I want it all. Money, fast cars, diamond rings, gold chains, and champagne shit. Every damn thing, I want it all. Houses, expenses, my own business, a truck, and a couple of bits. I want it all. Brand new socks and drawers. And I'm balling every time I stop and talk to y'all. I want it all, all. I want it all. They say they go over G with that envious stare. I love this game too much. I wish